Hello, welcome to my video. My name is Ali. I am a full stack solution architect and I have been working as a freelance software developer. At present, I am working as VP Apps Development. In this video, I am going to show you how you can deploy or run web applications Docker container. So let's see what are we going to cover in this video. As you can see on my slide, first we'll discuss about what is Docker and see the architecture of the Docker, and then we'll discuss about some of the basic commands and the command that we need to complete this task. After that, we'll talk about Kitematic. It's a GUI environment. Whatever you can do with command line, you can do the same thing with Kitematic. But I decided to show you command line first so that you can relate. Then we'll create Angular application, a straightforward, simple, plain application, and after that, we'll run or deploy that application in Docker's container. So let's see what is Docker. If we look at the official definition of Docker, so Docker is a computer program that perform operating system level virtualization. Virtualization. I believe you all have used the virtual machine and pretty much aware of what is virtualization. So let's see from the virtual machine perspective what's different in Docker than virtual machine and why it's getting popular than virtual machine. So let's see the architecture of virtual machine first, and then in comparison to virtual machine we'll try to understand Docker. So let's see the virtual machine architecture. On this slide we'll try to understand the difference between virtual machine and Docker, and we'll see the architecture of virtual machine and then in comparison to that we'll try to understand the Docker architecture. So let's see the virtual machine architecture first. Over here you can see the physical machine. On top of that, host operating system is sitting, and then it has its own kernel and memory management and other dependencies. On top of that we have the type 2 hypervisor. If the virtual machine is being used on host operating system, the hypervisor is called type 2 hypervisor. If virtual machine is directly communicating to physical machine, then it's called hypervisor. On top of that, we have the guest operating system that has its own kernel and memory management and other dependencies. And then we have apps running on that. Whenever app need anything from guest operating system, it asks from kernel or memory management, and anything that's needed by guest operating system is communicated to a hypervisor that's communicated to the host operating system. The hypervisor is called a virtual machine monitor. Now let's see what we have on Docker side, and then we'll try to compare between virtual machine and Dockers, and we'll see what makes Docker lighter than virtual machine. So as you can see over here that we have physical machine similar to the virtual machine side architecture, and then we have operating system sitting on that one, and it has its own kernel, memory management and other software dependencies. On top of that we have Docker engine. If you see, both are pretty much up to this point are similar, and now see what's sitting on Docker engine. Over here you can see that we have container, and under container we have dependencies, and on top of that apps are sitting. So what are dependencies? Dependencies are not kernel or memory management and other software. These are just pure dependency that's required by the app, and rest of the thing being managed by the host operating system, rather the guest container or the container itself. So on the virtual machine side, if you can see that we have kernel, memory management and other dependencies that makes guest operating system or the virtual machine heavier than container, the Docker engine. This is where the Docker is really flying, because its uptime is much lesser than virtual machine. And on this side, on container side, if a container needs anything from the host operating system, it passes to the Docker engine, and Docker engine does heavy lifting for the container. And whenever it needs any memory allocation, anything, it make use of the host operating system rather its own management of the memory. So this is where the Docker is different as compared to virtual machine. So now I hope you must have a very good idea of what's different in Docker than virtual machine. Now let's see some of the basic commands of Docker. Before showing the basic command and the command that we need to complete this task, let me show you how you can download, and where you can go and download the Dockers. And I'm running Mac, so this is the Mac site. You can do the same thing with Windows. You can go to the Windows site, and once you are there, so you can click on this store, as I'm clicking on this for Mac. So now I have this page over here. You can see that the stable version is fully backed and tested, and this one you can download download on your system. Once you have downloaded, I'm running the community edition. Before there was a dock client, and you can still download that one, but you need the VirtualBox to run the Docker images. But with community edition, you don't need the VirtualBox. It's run on its own. It manages everything for you. So once you have downloaded, then you can see this whale icon, their container sitting on this, and then when you click on this one, you can see this menu over here. You can also check your version of the Docker, and then over here you can see the Kitematic, the one that I mentioned you that we'll talk about. This is the GUI version, but first we'll talk about the commands, and then we'll see the same thing you can do with the Kitematic. And the other thing, because I already logged in, so you can see with my user ID over here, you can see the repository. When you click on this one, it's gonna take you to the Docker repository, where you can see your created images. I haven't created anything, so it's nothing there. So now let's go to the commands and see what are the commands we're going to cover. You can see the basic command on this slide. The first command is docker pull command, that will pull the image. You have to give the image name, and then you can run the docker images command. It will show you how many images are sitting on your computer. Once you have that image on your computer, you can run the docker run command against that image. It will create the docker container. Basically what happens once you have that image, when you run the docker run command against that image, it creates the instance of that image, that's called container. So once your container is running, you can stop that container, you can pause that container, and if you want to see that how many containers are running on your computer, so you can run the docker ps command. And if the container is running, it's created but not running, then you have to run the docker ps-a command, because the docker ps command only give you the container that's are in action or running. So once you have that container, then you can run the docker remove command. Docker rm command will remove the container. Docker rm I command will remove the images. I'm showing these command in order just to show you what's the purpose of each command, so you understand that how the commands are behaving against container or the images. You can run the docker inspection command against container ID, and at the last will run the command that will deploy our web application docker container. So let's see these commands in action. So let's see the docker pull command first, that I showed you on the slide, docker, and I'm going to pull the node image. It's gonna take a while, so I'll pause and then come back. So as you can see that the download is completed. Let me clear this, and then we'll run the docker images command. That will show us. So here you can see that we have downloaded the node image. The node image, it has all the dependency that's required by any node application. So if we need to deploy any application that depends on node, we can deploy in this container, in this image. So let's see if we can run this node image. So once as I told you that once you run the image, it's created the instance of that image, and that's called the container. And under that container, you can deploy and run any application. So let me run this docker image. You can type the docker run command. Now it's running. Let's see if it is really running or not. I don't see anything running, so let's see ps-a. So the container has been created, but it's not running. The reason nothing is specifically defined in this node image, that's keep it alive. That's why it's exit 0. So but we will use this image for our Angular application and we'll deploy under this image. For now, let's see how we can stop this. It's already stopped, so let's see how we can remove this container. So as I mentioned you in my slide that docker rm command will delete the container ID. So you don't need to write the full ID, you can just give first three letters. It's gonna find and delete that container. So once you have deleted that container, let me see if that container is deleted, because it's not running, so we cannot see by docker ps command. We have to say docker ps-a command. So now you can see that nothing is available. Let's see if the image is available or not. So as you can see that the container is deleted but no image is available. So with this image you can create multiple container, and same image is gonna be used by different container. As I said that when you run the image, it's create the instance of that image, and that's called container. So you can run as many instances as you want until you are out of memory. So as we can see that the image is already there, and let me show you the command that's delete the image, but I'm not gonna delete this image. If you run this RMI command against this repository name or again the same thing, three letter image ID, it's gonna remove this image. So as we have seen all the basic commands, so now let's move to the command that will deploy our Angular application in Docker's container. And after that we'll create the Angular application and we'll run that command again. Let me write down the command with all options, then I'll explain you options in details. So as you can see the command on my screen, and what it does, it's saying that run docker command, docker image, which is this image. You can write the image over here too, and then you can write the options, but I write the image over here. So an ID, it's saying that interactive mode, and dash p hyphen p is saying that map internal port to external port. So internal port I'm saying 4200 and external port to 4200, because we'll create the Angular application, and Angular application I'll be running on port 4200 and mapping to the same port externally so that we can access from our host system. And the volume, you need to persist the data in container, and the best option to persist the data is to create a directory on the host computer, and you can access that within container object. So this is what I'm doing over here. So I'm saying that my path of working directory is the current directory, whatever the directory I'm in, just map that directory internally to the container app folder or the app directory. And I'm saying that my working directory is app directory, so I can work from there. And then I'm saying that because I need the interactive mode, so connect me to the bash terminal. Once I run this command, it's gonna take me to the container. From there I can run my Angular application. So I'm not running this application or this command right now. First we'll create the Angular application, and then we'll run this command from that Angular folder. So let's create the Angular application. Before creating Angular application, let's see what's Kitematic. Now we'll talk about Kitematic. As I mentioned before, that if you have installed the Docker, so you will see this icon on top of your bar, and over here we have Kitematic. If you click on this one, it's gonna open up the window, the graphical user interface window, that will show you the images that's available on Dockers, and you can find the one that you are looking for. Let's say if I'm saying that I need the nodes, so it's gonna show up all the nodes images. I'll remove this filter, and if you want to download an image, so you can click on this one, you can click on create. It will download on your computer. As you can also see on top, once it's downloaded, so you will have these buttons available. Right now when I click on create, it does pull the image behind the scene, and once you create the when you click on the start button, it's gonna go and run the Docker image and will create the container for you. As you can see, the image is downloaded, and now it's starting up this image. Once this image is ready, we also have the web view. You can click on this one, it can undock this one and open up a separate window. So right now it's saying over here the image is running. Once it's started, so you should see something over here. Now you can see the image is up and running. Over here, if I click on this one, it's gonna go and show me the Jenkins UI. So over here I can go and grab this password, and if I enter over here, it's gonna take me to Jenkins UI. But I'm not gonna go in detail in this one. I just wanna show you, I wanna give you some kind of overview so that you can go yourself and look into this one. So this is the Kitematic. So now let's look into the Angular app. So let me create a new new uh, Docker app, and it's gonna create the. So now the application is ready. Let me go to the Visual Code and I'll open up that application with Visual Code, and we'll make some changes over there. Now you can see that application in Visual Code. Let me go to package.json. Let me see. Oh, save it and open up the terminal, and I'm saying npm the start. I just want to run this application first on the host computer so that we can see if there is any issue. The port is already in used. Port is already in used. Okay, I know why it's being used. I was running the Docker container. Let me see the container. Oh yes, we already have container running, so let me stop that container, and let's say d45. Okay, the container is stopped. Yes, and now we have to stop this. Let me kill this container. d45 and docker psa. No, we don't have any container. Let's go back to our Angular application. Let me start this again. As you can see that Angular application is running. Now let's load this application in Docker. We'll deploy this in Docker. Let me kill this session. Okay, go down this one. Let me go back to the terminal, and this is where we have our Docker application, Angular application. Let me go to Docker app. Within this Docker app, now we'll write the command that will create a connection between Docker container and this folder, and from here we'll deploy that application in Docker. Now we write the command to run that Angular application in Docker container. So I will repeat the same command again, but first I can show you the directory that I'm in. This is the directory I created my Angular application. So I'm in this directory. From here I want to run that command docker run, and I'm saying the interactive mode, the port is PM, we're saying that 4200 and 4200, and then volume is part of working directory, and map it to app within container, and then my working directory is app, and we're saying that image is node, and connect me to bin bash terminal. Now once we run this command, it's gonna start the container. What's here at OCI create the bin started bin bash. Okay, my bad. Now you can see we are in container. This is the file that we have. Let me open up another terminal so that I can show you the same file, that docker over here. Whatever the files we have over here are mapped within the container. Within the container I am going to run our Angular application. I intentionally did not make one change to show you that so that you can see what's the issue. Once you have seen that issue, so I'll make that change and will show you that Angular application will start working. So let me first fire up this command. Okay, here you go. The browser, host browser over here, I'm trying to access this application but I cannot. The reason is, though application started successfully in this container, and it's also giving us the host and the port number, and if I copy that port number and everything is not working. Reason is, what happened, because I use, let me show you the command again. The command that I use, I'm saying that my internal port is 4200, external port is 4200, but Angular is running on 4200 port, but it's not mapped internally to the local host. To map the Angular application to internally to local host, I have to make one change in this file. So I'm saying that host 0.0.0.0, and what it does is saying that map it to localhost. So now save it. If I go back and check over here, if I kill this session and npm run and npm start, if I do this again, it's saying that okay, map it to localhost. So now the application is running again. If I go back and check this time it's working. Just to make sure that this is the same application that's working over there, so I'll go to app component and I'm saying that div h1, this is an Angular app running in Docker's container. I'm saying okay, save it. If I go here, it should kick in right away. As you can see, this application is running in Docker. I hope you like this video, and goodbye until next video.